Welcome back to Clubhouse Chronicles, the place where the central Illinois music scene gets loud, proud, and unfiltered. I'm Twitt, your host with the most, ready to spin you the stories, the sounds, and the struggles behind the bands that are making waves right here in your backyard. Clubhouse Chronicles is the official podcast of Broken Record Music Club, your favorite independent record label, bringing you music for whatever you are going through. With that, let's buckle on up because this isn't just a podcast. It's a front row ticket to the heart of your indie music scene. Now, today, we have a guest that some of our listeners may not be too familiar with yet, but I'm currently sitting with the ethereal queen of East Florida right now. She roams with the gators down there. She's in the Everglades. She's just getting dirty in the swamp. But while she isn't from Illinois, she is someone that I have had the privilege of working with through Broken Record Music Club. She's coming off her latest heater of a single, Momentary Vibe. So I'm, of course, talking about our dear friend, Tina Bridge. Welcome to the Clubhouse, Tina.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I am so excited to introduce all of the people from Illinois to the wonderful world of Tina Bridge. And yeah, people should be a fan, in my opinion. I might be biased, though. So you just kind of met your number one fan. How did that go? Was it
the best experience of my entire life? That was the most wholesome thing, the most wholesome moment of my whole life, I think.
For those of you listening, my girlfriend happens to be Tina Bridge's number one fan. And prior to this interview, she was fangirling and talking to Tina about a lot of upcoming interesting things that we will get into later. But right now, Tina, why don't you start us out with describing your music for the people who haven't heard your music before?
Yeah, I'd say it's super emotional, but also very story driven at the same time. It's like the kind of music that when you hear, oh, wow, me too, like when you relate to something, that's the kind of music that I try to make. And it might not always be the biggest range or the highest notes, but it's music that you can feel. And that's my goal, for people to be able to relate to it.
And she says that she can't really sing the highest notes, but I think that's bullshit because her voice is magnificent. These runs that she has on these songs, your show, the first single new single that she released with Broken Record Music Club, just straight up, just her voice is shining on it. So I think you did yourself a little bit of an injustice there. I think you guys should go out and listen for yourselves and be the true judge, though. You just described your music for everyone, but how did you develop that particular style as an artist? Did you have any early influences, or was this just something that you've developed over time?
Yeah, so I've always been a writer, and I think that kind of shaped everything. I have poems in my phone notes in my iPhone app that I eventually just turned into songs. I'd say lyrically, I developed a lot of style from artists like Adele or Lauren Spencer Smith, Sarah Bareilles. Again, a lot of artists that tell a story through their voices.
Something that comes out in your music is the comparison to Adele for me. And I hear it's just a slight bit of Amy Winehouse, I think, with how your vocal range is. It's just so encompassing. Just there's a lot of stuff that you can do with your voice, and it makes very dynamic songs. You are newer to our label. We're coming up on 1 year, which is very shocking. I know it doesn't really feel like it's been that long, but also at the same time, it feels like we've been working together for a really long time, just because of the relationship that we've built. What kind of made you want to jump into music more seriously? Your first song came out in 2024. So prior to that, you weren't actively pursuing music through, distributing your own songs and stuff. So what made you want to pursue this?
So actually, it was two things. I kind of just got to that point in my life where I was like, if not now, when am I going to do it? And Borrowed Time was inspired by a situation that took a lot of processing and a lot of healing for me. So I just wanted to get it out to help myself heal, but also to help anybody that might have been going through a similar situation. And I did feel so much better after releasing that and getting it out there to the world. So that was kind of my inspiration for that. And I just, I figured I'm not really getting any younger. So that was also part of it. And my whole life, people have been encouraging me and telling me to use my gifts. So I thought it was just the time to start.
And it was a great time to start because with Borrowed Time, like we said, we came out in 2024. You were new to this whole songwriting process and recording process. So talk about that process and how it was like experiencing it for the first time. I know you have a very unique experience recording this single too. So I think people would enjoy.
So a lot of that experience with Borrowed Time, like I kind of said before, was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of trauma in that songwriting process. But also it was a learning experience for me. And if you listen to the song, you can actually hear me just like banging on the piano keys because I was just so emotional. I was trying to get this song out, not fast, but I was trying to get it out to help, like I said before, help myself heal. And it might not be the most polished song that I have, but I think it's honest. And that's what's important. I actually recorded it in a church for the first time, and that is where I was told that the sound was best and where it would pick up my voice. So I was a little bit intimidated singing a song about another woman in a church, but but I did it, and hopefully that can be used as inspiration as well for anybody that might be feeling some type of way about having their faith and also relating to a situation like that. So yeah, I wanted to make people feel, even if I wasn't belting or showing my entire range.
I mean, I feel like the theme of the song or the message of the song was definitely something that stood out. You can hear the emotion, and
thank you,
as it pours through you. And even though you cannot hear the church version of that recording, the new one is a little bit better in my opinion. So that's what's out on streaming. So
yeah, the best compliment I got after I released Borrowed Time was somebody that was a mutual friend of mine and the girl that I wrote it about, and she told me I can see her in the lyrics. And to me, as an artist and as a songwriter, that was exactly what I was hoping for. So I hope that it was able to resonate and really help somebody that might be going through the same thing.
You definitely painted a good picture, and this is a common theme throughout all your work, which we will dive into a little bit later. But
yes.
This time of when you released Borrowed Time, this was kind of the time that we started to discuss working together. But I kind of wanted to hear from your perspective because we don't get this perspective a whole lot. Give the audience like a taste of what that process was like in joining Broken Record Music Club and label showing interest in you.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting, but it was also really scary at first because I didn't come into this with a ton of industry knowledge. So I was really just going off of passion and a dream. So essentially having people like you believe in me and giving me those tools to grow as an artist just made a huge difference. And obviously, we meet weekly and we talk about different strategies, and I'm going to essentially need to grow. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
I'm thankful that I get to work with someone as amazing as you. And also, it would be wrong if I said, if I didn't say a shout out to Billy Gahagan for making this introduction. Billy Gahagan, while I was playing professional football, he was my agent. And at the time, he was also helping Tina with her music, and he helped her set up the recording for Borrowed Time, her first single. And we had a meeting, and then it was just kind of, that's what it was. The meeting of the minds, and we were off and running and working on all this new music that you've been having come out.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out, Billy. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate you, man.
So we fast forward to today. We've had your show released, which is another power ballad. But you're coming off the release of your latest single, Momentary Vibe. You released another single prior to that titled Velvet Blade. How has your creative process changed as you've grown in your artistry? Like from that time you were in the church, playing the piano and singing Borrowed Time for your first recording, to now that you've been in the studio, you've spent a lot of hours in a studio recording with your producer. How has that process kind of changed for you?
So I've definitely gotten a lot more confident in my voice because I am a hashtag overthinker. So I tend to be a perfectionist. I want to make sure that everything is perfect before I release it. But I also I work hand in hand with my producer Matt. He's amazing. I also have some students of mine that help me work on my music. Those that have more of a musically inclined ear than I do. I love to learn from them creatively, and I'm not second guessing myself as much. And I don't think I'm afraid to push my own limits. Also, I started thinking more intentionally about the storytelling aspect. So that has a lot to do with it as well.
You seem to always be telling a story whenever you're behind a microphone. And Velvet Blade, like it's more upbeat. It's different than the past couple songs that you've released. And then Momentary Vibe is just the ethereal ballad of the year, in my opinion. She gets back to her roots a little bit, but it's still just flowery clouds, and it's perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yes. As I mentioned, you have been kind of on a tear lately with new releases. A lot of songs coming out pretty quickly, and I am privy to a lot more than the people listening right now because we work together and we meet every week and we're actively talking about it. But the people listening right now, they don't know. But I think you have a couple of announcements that you want to get off your chest.
I do. I have what I feel like is the biggest announcement of my entire existence. I will officially be releasing my debut album called Mosaic in the fall, in September, and I'm so excited to share it with everyone.
Yeah. If you hear that, that's the world cheering right now. And your number one fan is off screen going absolutely bananas. A lot of dance moves I've never seen before, but it's all good. Let's get back to the matter at hand. Mosaic, it's coming out. It's your debut album, and it's so good. But prior to this interview, we had like our little weekly meeting, and she played me another song that's not even like a single, and fire, like my computer almost lit on fire. So Mosaic comes out in September, and then we also have another single, if I'm correct.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we have Access to Me, which is coming out
August 22nd.
Access to Me out August 22nd, and that one is another heater. A little bit different than what you're used to hearing from Tina, but boy, is it good. When I heard it for the first time, I almost threw my phone. I had to call her right away because it was that good.
That was such a good phone call. That was one of my favorite phone calls I think I've ever received. That was just so much fun.
So to give you guys some backstory, I was driving to dinner just completely on my own, and Tina had sent me this new song, the single, and so I'm playing it on my way to dinner, and I have to sit in the lot and finish the song, and I'm sitting there audibly like, yes, like screaming in my car, like, let's go, just because of how, I don't know, we've had a lot of discussions about your artistry and where to take it and how you wanted to express it on the project. So to hear it come out in this way, and I don't know, it's so great to hear good music. Yes, I'm going to stop fangirling though, and I'm going to let you, Tina, tell us a little bit more about your upcoming album and what people can expect from it.
Yeah, so I titled this album Mosaic because essentially it is a combination of all of these different people, memories, and lessons that have shaped me, essentially like tiny little pieces of a mosaic. When you picture a mosaic, you picture tiny little pieces, whether it's stained glass or broken puzzle pieces, however you see fit. But there's love, heartbreak, growing up, friendship, a lot of healing. Access to Me is going to be on that album, and it's regaining your power back. And if you've ever lost yourself in the process of loving someone else or another experience, this song is kind of like a power anthem. So some songs are fun and upbeat, and others are super emotional, but I tried to also make them cohesive. So you'll hear a lot of the same words in different songs or kind of the same themes, but they all come together to tell my story.
And they do an excellent job of telling that. Like I said earlier in this interview, that every song, Tina really is telling a story, and it's super tangible from the lyrics to the mood set with the instrumental, and then her vocals over the top really just bring it all together. So you mentioned Access to Me. How many songs can the people expect? Don't give any track names though, because we'll release that later. But how many songs, the overall vibe, like what would you describe the overall vibe?
I would describe the overall vibe again as storytelling, and this could be anywhere from 10 to 12 tracks potentially. So keep an eye out. I'm not going to tell you the number because it's a mystery. Could be 10, could be 12, but we'll see in September when it comes out.
You could get some bonus music. You never know.
You never know.
All right, Tina, we're going to do some rapid fire questions about the album. Okay, we're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Are any of the songs about people you know?
Yes.
Are they about your family or your friends?
That's complicated.
Would you say that the general tempo of the album is slower ballads or up-tempo?
A mix of both. It is a 50-50 equal mix of both. So there's something for all of your moods.
Is the album artwork done?
Yes. We're gonna say yes. It is done. It's done.
How long have you been working on this album?
I have been working on the songs that are in the album. So technically been working on this album since 2018.
How long have you been in the studio recording?
Oof. Let's see. Probably about a year. I'm going to say about a year.
What song took you the longest in the studio to make?
Definitely Velvet Blade. It was the most meticulous because, like I said, I had other people creating every single sound from scratch. Shout out to my students at school, Chris, Ryan, and Isabella. Thank you guys so much for that. You guys are amazing. Yeah, like I said, they made every single sound from scratch. So I'm super, super thankful for them. But it took a solid 3 to 4 days in the studio, I would say.
Do your students know that you have an album coming out?
Yes, they do. They are so supportive and loving, and I am so thankful for all of them. But yes, they know, and they faithfully post like my singles and my album artwork all the time, and I'm so thankful for that.
She's gaining the youth vote. What artists or bands have kind of been your inspiration as you put together Mosaic?
I would definitely say vocally, like I mentioned before, Adele for sure, but lyrically, Lauren Spencer Smith has a lot of songs that I really resonate with, and just her songwriting process in general is really similar to mine. She puts a lot of real experiences into her writing, so I would definitely say her. She's great.
Visually, it looks like a lot of the stuff that you've been posting and the album artworks have kind of fallen into a particular rhythm. What made you choose this stylistic choice for the album?
So the stylistic choice feels like me. Like, what if I picture my own aesthetic, like my everyday life, that is what I feel like it looks like. Some days, it's more blue, other days it's more green. I'm kind of all over the place, but cohesive at the same time. Does that make sense? I'm also a photographer, so I have an eye for the aesthetically pleasing type of vibe. And I do like it to change with every song, but at the same time still keep some of those same colors and tones so that it does look cohesive.
I try to keep this interview about music, and you're bringing up your photography, so why don't you plug your photography business right now?
Sure. So my photography name is captured _by Christina, Christina. Central Florida photography, lifestyle, weddings, couples, engagement, you name it, I will capture you. That sounded
Wow. Are you an ad right now? Jeez. She got to get that bag.
Oh man, yeah. That's me.
You've admitted that these songs are about people that you know. Do they know that they are written about you?
I'm going to go with yes, because some of them are so specific that it's impossible not to know that they were written about them. But also I'm kind of an open book. Like, I think that this is my truth, and anybody that I've ever experienced knows me and knows my truth. And they all know that they experienced an artist and a songwriter and a singer at some point, so it's only natural that person would go on and write about them. Not to pull a Taylor Swift, but it's kind of who I am, so I think that it was only to be expected.
The classic T Swizzy. How does your girlfriend feel about you writing about these people from your past? It's kind of scandalous.
Yeah, she's the most supportive angel that I could ever ask for, honestly. She's wonderful. She has told me if I ever, a lot of these songs were written in my past, so everything on Mosaic was written in my past, but she has even told me, if you ever wake up one day and you want to write about something that happened back then, that's your truth, that's your story. And she's like, I can't stop you from writing that. And she's like, at the end of the day, your truth and your story is what matters. And if somebody else can resonate with that, that's what's most important. And this is the most emotionally secure and healthy relationship that I've been in, unlike the song I've written about. So I'm very thankful. She's so supportive, and she will listen to my songs in her car. So she actually has giant speakers that she put into her car to play my songs while she drives. And she, so far, her favorite is Access to Me. But yeah, I'm really grateful. She's the most supportive.
We love a supportive queen. Well, I am just super thrilled that you have been able to announce this, because it's been eating you alive. I feel like every week you're like, when can I announce it? When can I announce it?
I know.
Today's the day, Tina.
I know. And that's how I am with like Christmas presents too. Like, do you want to see what I got you? Are you sure you don't want to say? And that's how I've been feeling for like these past couple months. I've been like, I have so much on my mind that I just want to share with people. And this album is a perfect example of that. So,
and it's going to be the perfect gift for anyone this September. Again, I'm so proud of you just in general for all the hard work you've kind of put in the past pretty much a year of really figuring out who you are as an artist and getting in the studio and finding a studio and finding a producer, and then, really honing in on the music that you wanted to make. So I'm super excited to be a part of this, a small piece of this on your journey. So I can't wait to put it out. And we have plenty of other announcements and fun stuff coming soon too. So be on the lookout. Tina, this is typically the point of the interview where I have a few questions at the end that talk about like the central Illinois music scene or just the Illinois music scene in general. But since you're rolling around with the Gators in Florida, I had to resort to reaching out to your number one fan for a very, very good question that they wanted to know. And as mentioned earlier in this podcast, that number one fan is my girlfriend, who hears all of Tina's music early and gives a bunch of feedback because she really is Tina's number one fan. This is a very good question that I also wanted to know as well. We've talked about how a lot of your stuff that is in the works and the stuff that you've already released is you're singing about emotional topics, particularly like that have to do with your life. When you record these songs, are you able to get out this emotion, and then are you able to move on from that time and that feeling? Or is it something that you still have to hold on to after you release a song?
Sure. Yeah. I think writing the songs helps definitely with the processing of it. Once I've gotten it out into the world, I do feel like I have made peace with it in some way. Even though I may have moved on situationally and relationship wise, I'm in the best and healthiest relationship I've ever been in now. But that doesn't mean that I necessarily forgot about everything that happened before. And that's why I decided to write about it and give my truth to the world, essentially, to help me heal. So I will always remember what inspired each song and those people. Those feelings more so just live in a different place now, if that makes sense.
I know Sammy, my girlfriend, she said that she found a lot of similarities between you and like Miley Cyrus and how she emotionally handles these songs. So shout out to Sammy, Tina Bridges' number one fan, for an awesome question that really had me hooked as well on an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Tina, we are on the final question of this interview.
All right.
I think we got to save the best for last. The last thing that I want you to do in this interview is to explain why you think people should give your music a try if they haven't already.
Sure. I'm going to keep it very transparent because it's real, and these are not made up stories or anything fictional. These situations have all happened to me in real life, and I think that just as a human being, just living each and every single day, we go through so many things and experiences that could be beneficial to hear from someone else's point of view to maybe help us go through it. And if you've ever loved someone deeply or lost someone or struggled with self-worth, or like I said earlier, regaining your power after being in, whether it was a narcissistic relationship or just losing yourself, I think this album and my music is about connection and the type of music that makes people feel understood.
Which is one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to work with you to begin with, because that's our slogan, music for whatever you're going through. And, just seeing some of the feedback that you have gotten from some of your songs, it's actively making a difference for people out there that are listening to it. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check out Tina's music, please do yourself a favor and listen to it. It's a very deep message and a real story there that maybe it's one that will help you through a tough time in your life. Tina, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. I know we're on a little bit of a time difference here, so it's a little late, but appreciate you staying up and chatting with us about your upcoming project and all the great stuff you got going on. I hope some people in Central Illinois and Illinois in general will go out and listen to you. So thank you again so much.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It has been so much fun and such a pleasure. And I'm really excited for what's coming next.
Yes. There's a lot coming next. So you out there need to be ready. That's right. You can find links to Tina's music in the show notes right now. You can scroll down there. There's a link. Slam that link. You'll go to her page and you will see her latest single, Momentary Vibe. And you can hear all the ethereal ballad goodness that we talked about in this interview. You'll see Velvet Blade. You'll see your show. And eventually, if you give her a follow, you will see Access to Me and Mosaic coming out in September. You can also keep up with Tina on Instagram at Tina Bridge Music. It's very simple. It's exactly how it sounds is the way you spell it. You can also find her on TikTok at It's Tina Bridge. Again, very simple. Her TikTok is a little bit of her photography stuff as well. So if you're interested in having Tina take some pictures for you, you can reach out to her through there. But just like that, that's our show. You've been hanging out with Clubhouse Chronicles, where the sounds are hot, the stories are hotter, and the vibes absolutely off the charts. Don't forget to hit us up at our new spot on Instagram at Club Chron Pod for all the updates, news, and more on this podcast. For all things Broken Record Music Club related, we are still over at Broken Record Music Club across all socials for you to check out our artists and the other cool things we are up to. I'm trying to get us to 1,000 followers, guys. And if you do, I promise you, you will have something really cool coming your way soon. We're like 1 follower away. If we haven't reached it, please go and follow Broken Record Music Club and follow Club Chron Pod so that I can announce this really cool thing that I've been working on with Bridget Lands for the past couple weeks. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate every one of our subscribers that comes in and watches our video versions of these interviews. We're still uploading the podcast to the Broken Record Music Club YouTube channel. If you could stop right now, if you're watching this, and hit the subscribe button, it would be so cool of you, because it helps us get these interviews with super cool artists like Tina out to more viewers like yourselves. And it can help them and alter the course of their career. It can help them earn new fans and progress as an artist. So one little action can really help if you subscribe to our channel and like the video. But until next time, keep it loud, keep it proud, and remember, Central Illinois is where the music magic happens. Peace.
Bye.